Americas region, and we'll see if we can go even further here as we're loading into game number 1 and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have the Brazilian Terran player. It is Kelazhur.
And over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have our blue Zerg player coming out from the land of the US of A. We have, playing for StarCraft Esports, he is Ukko. I almost said the land of the Americas. And, technically true. Technically it's true, but,
true.
We want to be a bit more specific here.
True, exactly. Ukko is from the US of A, and it's important that you bring that up as we're getting into our openers, and we can get into that soon. But Ukko, he is, I would say, currently, and has been for a while, the best Zerg player in the United States of America. He has kind of claimed that role in the retirement of Silky. It's been a while. I think Silky, he did retire. Yeah, back in 2020 or 2021, he did end up stepping away from the game, and in his absence, Ukko has since filled his shoes. On top of that, he's been streaming quite a lot. He streams many hours of the day. He ladders quite a lot as well. He's been on that grind set, but as you mentioned, he's not the most active player in online tournaments, just mainly ladder and stream.
Yeah, not technically one of those hibernating players who, comes back in during the big ESL Masters events, because he does play in quite a lot of other NA-specific tournaments, but like you said, maybe not necessarily all of the weekly events and all of the online stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But he's here to prove himself, and we'll see if he can, because Kelazhur has been on fire. He may have left Team Liquid a couple of weeks ago, but he's still very much so in form. He even announced himself that he was looking for a team to represent in ESL Masters, because he believed that he can go far and he can make it into the upper echelons of this tournament. And I have to agree, because Diego has been looking damn good here in these online events, in events like the Kung Fu Cups, in WTL when he was representing TL. And it's going to be on Ukko to try to put a stop to it.
Yeah, and we'll see what he can really do here. Already a pretty good sign from Kelazhur is that he is going with the double racks build on the natural base. Has fallen a little bit out of favor by a lot of Terran players, but still a very solid build regardless. And yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, Bjorn still does it.
He does, but it's his build.
It's true. It's all he does.
He's obligated to still do that build, to still do this build.
You're not wrong. And we get one drone kill in the natural, but the goal here of this opener, there's only three Reapers, but if you notice, as we get another drone in the main, oh my god, getting an insane amount of damage already, we are containing Ukko. Ukko, he is stuck on 2 bases. He should have a third by now, but because of these Reapers, he's being contained that much longer, even going for another drone.
Yeah, these Reapers have an insane amount of zoning potential here in the early game. Kelazhur, he just wants that third. He just wants to throw down a creep tumor in the natural base. Or Ukko, rather, just wants a third base, just wants to throw down a creep tumor here, but these Reapers are making him think twice.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see Kelazhur rotating around, he's just making sure that no third base was snuck out, and he gets confirmation that there's still no third. Ukko finally will be expanding. Back at home, Kelazhur is not done. He very quickly threw down his add-ons, reactor, stim, and a third racks behind this.
Insane aggression coming out from Kelazhur here. I thought, we were going to be coming into this TVZ. We start off the series with something a little bit more standard coming out from our players. Kelazhur says, no. I'm bringing back a classic, which was invented in, I think, just a couple of months ago, but a classic nonetheless. And I'm going to transition into a very aggressive timing.
Exactly. Basically, this is going to hit with Stim. We're going to have an abundance of Marines. We kept the Reapers alive as well, and I'm sure you know this as well. If you do keep your Reapers alive for this push, suddenly you have so much more micro potential, and suddenly it's that much more difficult for Ukko to surround these Marines with these KDA charges to defend as Kelazhur pushes out. This is not all in. He is transitioning behind this into a factory, into an eBay, into a starport for medevacs.
Yeah, very important for Ukko to have been active with his links earlier on. He's well aware of the threat in front of him, and so instantly he produces something like 20 lings immediately, and he is not stopping. Third base will be finishing up, but he's not going to be droning for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, he has to focus on Ling production, and he has enough to defend. He has Lings and Queens. He wants to try to lure in his opponent, Kelazhur. He has one stim in this army. He can't waste it. Again, there are no medevacs, so there's no sustainability here. Every stim counts, and again, he has to be very careful when he does opt to use it.
That's a lot of queens that Ukko has here, and a lot of queens that are very well placed and positioned. Kelazhur continuing to be annoying here, clearing up creep whenever and wherever he can. And in the end, thinks twice of trying to move into that many queens and that many lings.
Yeah, and I love this. Very mature play here out of Kelazhur. He doesn't throw anything away. Looking at the units lost tab, he has lost 0 units. He hasn't lost a single thing, and he is waiting for a second wave, which will include medevacs as they are in production. Before they come out, though, Kelazhur, he's pushing in again.
Yeah. I think I really like how you described this play. Like, Terran players out there, growing up is recognizing that you shouldn't just waste your stim. You shouldn't just waste your stim and try to kill the queens. No. Keep those Marines alive and get ready for round 2 with medevacs, with tank support, with, a more effective army, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It is a much more effective army here as Kelazhur is just building up towards his follow-up push. +1 attack is on the way. He's going to be denying creep. He still hasn't dove in yet as Ukko now has Banelings incorporated with his army. No Baneling speed for the time being. The lair, it just now begins. A very late lair for Ukko.
Yeah, I can't say I fault Ukko for delaying the lair since he knew that he really needed army to try to deal with all of this, but this is also kind of what Kelazhur was hoping for Ukko to really delay his Baneling speed and have a bit of an easier time fighting the army. I say that. Okay, Kelazhur turned around for a second, but yeah, he's just regrouping. He is just trying to see what he can get done here with his drops.
Yeah, we have a split push, essentially. We have a double drop here towards the north. We have a double drop going in towards the main base. We'll see if Ukko can keep up. He goes for a Ling counterattack, but there is an army back at home. The Lings, they will achieve nothing. And here comes the drop play.
Yeah, this drop in the main base should be cleaned out. Kelazhur's actually cleaning out a lot of workers. This is the perfect position to hold your medevacs in. Only one queen could attack at a time, and it's outside of spore range. So a lot of these Marines stay alive and are going to continue to harass this main. Meanwhile, the other drop does get chased back for the time being, but the majority of the army supply there stays alive, so Kelazhur can still use it for his follow-up push.
Mate, that was a disgustingly good trade. Like, we saw Marines, we saw Lings try to dive on this army, but because of the SimCity, because of the terrain, we reduced the surface area. That was 67 Lings for 13 Marines. That was an insane trade here at Kelazhur. He's pushing out once again. We do still have more Lings and Banelings available, but Baneling speed, it just now started.
Baneling speed just started. 2 tanks are now here. Things are looking from bad to worse here for Ukko. He's using as many queens as he can here. I think that really is his best chance in this defense, to just utilize his queens and to utilize all of his transfuses, but he does need to be careful with what he transfuses here, whether it's another queen or if it's the hatchery.
Yeah, exactly. As Kelazhur, he wants the base. Good target practice as well on some of those Banelings. Ukko, he's diving in.
Yeah, diving in without Baneling speed. Unfortunately, a lot of the Banes go down. He kind of had to go for this attack, but Kelazhur set it up just about perfectly. There are no more Banes to threaten this. GG gets called, and Kelazhur will be taking a very quick game number 1.
GG. Well played. Kelazhur in full control of that game from the beginning, from the initial 2-axe opener into 3 Reapers. He was killing workers. He was containing his opponents. That led into the 3 racks, into the eventual 5 racks on 2 bases. He was getting a 3rd CC behind it, but Kelazhur was so dedicated with his pushes and very attentive play as well, right? We saw him taking some amazing trades, some amazing fights, and Ukko was really struggling to keep up.
Yeah, really good, in the moment prioritization coming out here from Kelazhur, focusing on that medevac drop going into the main base, just keeping his eyes on it for that extra second to make sure that they weren't in range of the queens, weren't in range of the spore crawlers, and he was able to get away with that absolutely disgusting trade. 13 Marines for 67 Lings. That already is a really efficient trade, but when you consider the fact that he was also pressuring the 3rd base, that was also most of the army there of Ukko. The fact that he was setting up tanks to go for that follow-up push, yeah, everything just fell into place here for Kelazhur, really showing the power of mature Terran play.
Exactly. You know, with age comes wisdom, and we saw that Kelazhur, he was not just trading well against the Lynx, but he was denying creep. He was just applying so much pressure and suffocating Ukko in a way. He just had a really hard time breathing and gaining any kind of map presence whatsoever. He tried to go for a Ling run by at one point, but alas, he was met by a brick wall of Marines and tanks. But he's not out of it yet. We are getting into game number 2.
Indeed, we are. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, over here in the bottom right, we have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Brazil. He is currently teamless, which makes absolutely no sense to me. He is Kelazhur.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports down in the series, but not out. It is Ukko. And here we go. Once again, Kelazhur going for the racks on the low ground. And what's important about these 2 racks openers, if we even get there, is that there are so many different variations afterwards. You know, you can go 3cc 2-on-1. You can go for a 3 racks, which is what we saw last game. We could even double down and go for a 4 racks as well.
Well, now that you say it, I feel like Kelazhur has to go for a 4x now. Once you've put it out there into the void that, hey, this is a possibility, I like to imagine somehow, subliminally, Kelazhur's just thinking, why do I feel like going for a 4x?
Don't like this, Poppy. Don't like this. It's going to be a little bit difficult to pull it, a little bit more difficult to pull that off here on Site Delta. There's some pros and cons, right? This is one of the few maps in the current map pool that actually has a ramp coming into the natural, so the natural base is that much more defensible, but at the same time, this third is more exposed. You can attack from a couple of different angles here if you wanted to try to push in, so there is potential if Kelazhur did want to double down. We saw that a lot in GSL last week, where both Maru and Björn were very all-in when they played out their own respective TVZs on this map.
Yeah. How'd it work out for them?
Not at all.
Did
not work, Pappy. Did not work. Yeah. It was rough, Pappy. It was rough. But, you know, that doesn't have to stop Kelazhur from trying. He's going for a 2-racks opener. We have a CC behind this. So, again, not all in. He's not going Mass Reaper. The first Reaper has arrived. And this time, Ukko, no fear. He goes straight for the 3rd this time.
Yeah, I mean, better early than late, especially if you suspect that your opponent is going for a bit of a Reaper commitment like this. Kelazhur dancing with fire here, but it's just barely going to be able to keep both of his Reapers alive. Confirms that the 3rd base has already been taken, and now he's got to come up with a follow-up to this, or rather he's got to react to this.
Yes, and there's a lot happening right now. Okay, so 1, Kelazhur, his response to this third hatchery is you throw down the 3rd CC before factory. Wow. A very, very greedy opener here from Kelazhur, a very greedy reaction. A big reason for this is because by the time he scattered this hatchery, he was already making add-ons. He was already transitioning. If he hadn't, he could have made an extra wave of Reapers. He could have denied this hatchery. With only 3, we can save this, but actually this hatchery is getting very low.
Yeah, that Queen, understandably, Ukko doesn't want to move that Queen off of creep. There aren't really that many Lings, and even if there were, Ling speed isn't done. Ukko now going for it, and he should be able to keep this alive. That's a massive wave of Lings, and speed just about finished up. These Reapers are going to have a tough time staying alive, I imagine.
They really are, but we do have a couple of cliffs here that we can take advantage of. Good grenades as well. Eventually, this should be shut down as another KDA charge goes off here, and the Reapers, they finally stop falling.
They will, but they're trading so efficiently. Another Ling will go down as the final Reaper falls. 13 Lings for 3 Reapers. That is pretty insane, if you ask me.
It is. But at least Ukko gets his third base. I almost said Cuckoo. Who's a very
Our
different
mind
kind
is
of player.
in Romania.
But look how low this base was. Again, imagine if Kelazhur had seen this a little bit earlier, if he had scouted this a little bit sooner, if he had even one additional Reaper here, he could have shut this down. So a very close defense out of Ukko, but he does hold on to his third.
Yeah, I can't imagine Kells is feeling too torn up about not getting the hatchery, though. Already Stim is about to be finished up, and I'd be very surprised if Kelazhur doesn't just try to send a wave of bio across the map. Maybe he's going to wait for a medevac or two. Yeah, he already has the reactor ready in the factory to swap around, so that hatchery, I cannot see that hatchery living for too much longer, I'm going to be honest.
As you mentioned that, yeah, it's a very vulnerable base now, and we're soon going to move out with that double medevac drop, as you were mentioning, with 16 Marines, with Stim and maybe even combat shields by the time the medevacs come out. So Ukko, he has to be very vigilant when it comes to protecting the space. He has a lot of queens he can always transfuse, so wish him the best of luck as we are settling into the mid-game. Ukko has a solid economy, and he's working towards a fourth.
Indeed he is. He's trying to get a little bit further ahead this time compared to game number 1. He has the freedom this game, so he is 100% going to utilize it. Kelazhur already moving out with his Marines. All it takes is one good, well-timed stim.
We have one transfuse already, so it's slowly regenerating that HP as Kelazhur's going to be pushing out. The goal here is to deny creep and maybe catch a queen or two, maybe even deny the fourth base, actually. We'll see if Kelazhur can head in that direction. For now, he's just going for the creep, vying for map control, and settling on into his own third CC.
Yeah, pretty mature play once again coming out from Kelazhur. Not going for the big shiny target of that hatchery, instead just going for things that will give him value without risking too much of his own position.
Yeah, again, he's respecting his opponent quite a lot. One of those medevacs already takes a lot of hits and is vulnerable to these queens. I'm sure Ukko would love to dive on that medevac, and a couple of Marines get caught out. Good trades here from Ukko, shaving off whatever he can, as eventually Kelazhur is forced to pick up leave, and he gets eyes on now the new fourth base.
He does. That's another target for Kelazhur here. It's a little bit of a quicker fourth base than I think Kelazhur was expecting, but considering the fact that Kelazhur did go for 3cc before factory even, I think he isn't feeling too much pressure to harass that base.
Yeah, again, it was a very economic follow-up, and he got away with it. You know, he has map control, and here we go. Here comes the split push. We still have that double drop towards the south. Significantly less Marines. Kelazhur, he has been bleeding out quite a number of Marines here with this drop, but he has another army towards the right-hand side looking to distract Ukko.
Yeah, now the mines do burrow. But Ukko pulls away, and yeah, not really going to get too much here. Once again, Kelazhur going for what I think he's really known for in TVZ is just all of these multi-prong harasses with medevac drops.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He's known for his speed, and we'll see if he can keep up as the things they roll in. Mine shots will go off, and it looks like Kelazhur, oh my god, he actually breaks through.
Yeah. Very well connected Widow Mine hits, very well targeted snipes on those Banelings as well with just those Marines. Of course, the Zergling buffer was gone, so Kelazhur had a bit of an easier time. He is being chased back here when it comes to his more southern push, but he will be able to make it out with 2 medevacs full of Marines.
Yeah, exactly. Ukko, he's keeping up. He's maintaining his economy, and that's what matters most here, is that Ukko, he hasn't really lost too many workers, and he is stabilizing, he's spreading creep, he's holding onto his 4 bases. A couple of rough trades here and there when it comes to the army, but at least his economy is strong, and he's able to keep up, for the most part, with Kelazhur.
Yeah, definitely taking a bit of a risk here, going for a 5th base. Beautiful Baneling snipes come out from Kelazhur. Taking out just about every single one before loading up into the medevacs and leaving. Meanwhile, we have a massive army towards the south. Ukko's actually double expanding in the face of all of this, which is ill-advised, to say the least, but if he can somehow defend he's going to be in such a comfy position. It's a
Yeah,
very big if, though.
Where are the Bailings, though? No Bailings, and the army pushes on through. The fourth base goes down before the third, by the way, but maybe I spoke too soon because here comes another double jump on the right-hand side. Kelazhur, he is pulling Ukko apart. He just did not have the Bailings to defend, and he does hold on to his third, but I can't say the same about his fourth, as Kelazhur, he's getting out of control. You can see that reflected in the supplies as he is up in the army supply.
I'm just at a loss that that third base wasn't the first one to go down. Where the mines are still here, and they are about to be reprimed. Ukko has forgotten about them, and the mines will actually not get the... Those connections could have been better, but still good enough here for Kelazhur. He's cleared up most of the lane buffer, and he has had a very easy time cleaning out the rest of the Banelings. GG, good luck is called. Kelazhur will be taking that series 2-0.